don't know what you mean.
Whenever you're ready, Jesse.
Welcome, Jubilee community. It is another beautiful day in the Blue Ridge Mountains, or wherever it is you're joining us from today. Yes, we are a community of faith, and we come together to celebrate life and community and creativity and the holy, whatever that is to you. And community is a big part of what we are about. And to do that via Zoom, it's really helpful to turn on your videos so we can see each other, whether you're biking or walking or in your PJs or eating breakfast. It's great to see you. So please turn on your camera if you can, and then wave to people next to you, starting to create our connection and the web that brings us all together. And you can say hi in the chat. And we also invite you to participate in all ways. And that could be lighting candles together, bringing your bells, singing, lighting sage, and then joining the breakout rooms at the end of the celebration where you get to connect with others and talk about the celebration more. With our new model that we have taken on, we have a guest speaker once a month. And this week, we are so excited that CHRIS Highland is joining us as Laura takes a break. And as we say yes to nature. So I think everyone here knows that the West is on fire. California has its three of its biggest fires ever burning right now, including the redwoods. And so as we take a moment to sort of mourn together, I also invite you to consider this line of the poem from a lovely forest in our neck of the woods, Joyce Kilmer National Forest. And the line is, "I think I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree." And Martin Luther said something similar. He said, if we rightly consider, every green tree is far more glorious than gold and silver. And it's like both are saying, nature is impossible to measure, whether it be in words or wealth. It's the foundation of all that exists, absolutely everything. Whether you grew up on the pavement of New York City or a farm in the next holler, we belong to nature. The earth is in our bones. The water is in our blood and tears, the fire in our digestion, the air in our lungs, the plants in our belly, and the sun and the stars in our very existence. And somehow we're taught, I think mostly through spiritual dogmas and science, that somehow we're separate from nature, that we're in isolation from it or need to transcend it or dominate over it. And some of the ancients, they felt like they stood under nature and had to placate it. But for about 4,000 years, we've been told that we stand over nature. And so we take from it without sacred reciprocity and often abuse it. It's the roots of environmental injustice, which is taking from nature as part of the foundations of capitalism, along with cheap labor. But what if we had a different view of nature? Not that we are separate for it and that we humans don't stand over it or under it, but rather with it. As a yogi, taught to see the consciousness in all things, that nothing is object, everything is subject. Every plant, animal, mineral, butterfly, bird, cockroach has a life experience, has an awareness, has something to offer the world, not necessarily for humans, as we're taught in the Giving Tree, but for the intricate web of the whole. And nothing, you all know that I'm an herbalist, right? I talk about herbs all the time. And plants show us this. They're constantly communicating with us. Every time I teach an herbal class, someone has an epiphany where the plant that they've been fighting for years, whether it's in their garden or their backyard, like it has the medicine they need. And if you don't know this, kudzu, which grows everywhere in the Southeast, it has the medicine for stroke and alcoholism and heart conditions. So what would it be like if we got off our anthropomorphic, self-obsessed butts to see ourselves as just one strand in the web of all of it and respect all of nature and see that we are not apart from it, but a part of it. So with that, we will explore saying yes to nature and awake our soul.
Aho.
Awake my soul,
meet your maker. You were made to meet your maker. You were made to meet your maker. So around here in Western North Carolina, this land before the Europeans got here had been settled for many, many, many years, decades, centuries, and millennia. And that humanity is still here. And one of those descendants is here to share the directions and bring us in today. So welcome, Yona.
Thank you, Daniel, and good morning, Jubilee. I'm Yona Frenchhawk, your Jubilee Minister of Native American Ritual and Ceremony. And I am actually sitting in a hospital room in Cherokee, North Carolina. So these beauties here are actually the very, very mountains that I grew up in. And am proud to call home. And
Uh-oh, just lost you there, Yona. For some reason. Looks like you're muted.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay. But would like to welcome you here and to, just to reconnect and to find that place where I think a lot of us are looking for that sense of balance and that sense of just being instead of having to question. And as Howard was always so good about bringing out of, it's okay to not know sometimes. That's why we call it the great mystery. That's part of the larger expansion and the mystery of life is that sometimes we have to walk in darkness in order to find light and to appreciate it. So with that, I would ask you to, as I turn this around and show you the mountain backdrop here, as I call into the directions and ask the ancestors to come and be with us today, please sit with me, take a deep breath, center yourself, and know that we are fortunate to live in the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion. The whole spirits of the East. It's with a humble heart and a humble spirit that I raise my voice to you this day. It's with great gratitude that I honor your presence. To open my eyes and to see that you're still there is an honor and gives me strength to follow the beams of light that lead to the future. Thank you for your greatness. Thank you for your kindness and your love. Thank you for some of the tough lessons that we have to learn in order to appreciate the balance and harmony of life. As we honor those that are experiencing that light in the fires in the West and all over the world, we ask, Creator, and all the spirits of the East, we ask that we learn our lessons in kind, loving, gentle, and compassionate ways. Help us to live our lives in a way so that these lessons come to us in that way. We ask all of these things of you in a good way. I hope. And face to the south, please. Oh, spirits of the south, to all the beings of the water nation, the cloud people, the water people, the rain people, the thunder beings. We thank you for your nurturing. We thank you for quenching our thirst for the questions of the mystery of life. We ask you to continue to nurture us as we move forward toward the future, as we find the balance between all living things. Help us to grow to be as one. Help us to deepen our roots and to nurture those seeds that are the visions and the future of our children and the next generations. Continue to nurture us in that way. And we continue to walk and we celebrate this day and we invite you to come and be with us in a good way. I hope. Face to the west, please. Oh, ancestors of the West, we thank you this beautiful day for all that you have given, for all of you that have come before and have marked this path for us to follow in the footsteps of the visions and the prayers that you've prayed for us. Remind us of your voice and your songs and your stories. Remind us of the wise words. Remind us of the actions that you lived that are the greatness that we know as history. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In a good way. Oh. Face to the north, please. Oh, spirits of the north, all the beings of the wind nation. We as people of this earth are in such gratitude for the breath that you give us, for the reminders of, in those moments when we live in awe and wonder, when our breath catches and all we can do is just for a moment, just stop. Thank you for those brief moments. Thank you for the moments where the breeze picks back up and begins to stir that awe and that wonder and spread it about amongst each and every one of us, all living beings of the earth. We thank you. We ask you to lift us up. Lift us up beyond the smoke of the fires of the West. Lift us up beyond all the turmoil that might be going on in our world right now. Lift us up only where love and the wind knows to go. With greatness, with love, honor, and compassion. We thank you. We honor you and invite you to come celebrate this day with us in a good way. I hope. Take a deep breath, please. Center yourself. Oh, ancestors of the universe. To all the star people, to all the relatives that live in the sky and in the wind and in rain and in the clouds, in the trees and the roots, in the very, very heart of Mother Earth. We thank you. We thank you for the beauty that is each and every breath. We thank you for all the things we don't know to say out loud. Just know that from that silence comes the depths of our gratitude and thankfulness for your presence in our lives and all that you have done and all the blessings that have been given and all the blessings to come. We honor you and we thank you and invite you to come and celebrate this day with us in a good way. I hope.
Oh. Thank you, Yona. So this morning, we're going to sing a John Denver song that you have probably never heard. I had not heard it myself until I was looking for something for us to sing together this morning for this theme of saying yes to nature and to the gifts of earth. And it was actually kind of challenging to find a right song for that. And I had actually come up with another one that could have worked. And then I ran across this, and it's got a little interesting story, and I want to tell you just a little bit about it. He used to play apparently at a symposium, I think in Colorado, for several years. And he had promised this guy who was, I guess, the organizer to sing a song, to write a song called Healing Time on Earth. And Denver had said, okay, I will. And this went on for like 5 years. And he gets up on stage and he's about to sing this song. And he tells this little story about how hard it was for him to actually write the song. He kept looking for it and it never came in. And he literally wrote it because he had made a promise to this guy that he was going to do it. This was going to be the last symposium. And so there wasn't going to be an opportunity to do it. So he had to do it because the time was short. And so he wrote this song literally kind of in the previous day and kind of half wrote it almost improv that night. And so it's a really cool little story that you can see on YouTube. He only performed it like once or twice before he passed a few weeks later. So that is the story underneath this song. And so I encourage you to sing along with it and explore it with me together. And please pitch in the chat to support social and environmental justice groups as we sing. Let the mountains talk, let the river run. There is wisdom here, there is much to learn, there's much to know. much to understand in this healing time all across the land. You have heard my songs for so many years. You have laughed with me, washed away my tears. You have shared my joy. You have felt my pain in this healing time. Walk with me again through these darker days on this narrow line. Help me find my way. Help me see the signs. I am not afraid. I am not alone. You have taught me well. You have brought me home. Let the mountains speak. Let the rivers run as the world awakes to the rising sun. And each brand new day in our own rebirth, in this healing time on our Mother Earth. Let the mountains talk, let the rivers run. There is wisdom here, there's so much to learn, including this song. In each brand new day, in our own rebirth, in this healing time for our Mother Earth. Let's do that again. Let the mountains talk, let the rivers run. There is wisdom here, there's so much to learn. In each brand new day, in our own rebirth, in this healing time on our Mother Earth. In each brand new day, in our own rebirth, in this healing time, here with Mother Earth. All right, Terry.
Good morning, Jubilee. The singers are happy to be back with you this fall. And as I was looking at the little blurb for this morning and saw the question, what might our lives look like if we flowed with the rhythm and ease of the natural world more often, and became reacquainted with this song, which is Follow the Sound by Leah Davis, I said yes. And so a small group of us have gotten together, and here we are. I hope you'll enjoy it.
Moving with the earth,
And that's a special shout out. You may notice toward the bottom of your screen is Bob Lantis, who is singing with us this fall, and we appreciate his joining singers.
Oh, yeah. Everyone give a big enthusiastic wave to the singers. Welcome back. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. So take a nice deep breath. I invite you to get your bowls, bells, candles, whatever brings you into this lovely prayer time. So where are you from? I've been asked that question a lot since I've been in Asheville, almost 24 years, and many of you can relate. So with a sense of duty, I tell them, I'm from Earth. Well, I'm not going to make any presumptions about anyone else. To quote Alan Watts, the earth earths as much as an apple tree apples. The earth peoples as well. So, and the earth raccoons, and the earth spiders, and the earth birds. We're a condition of this planet. And we're learning in this crazy time how important it is to be good stewards of our ecology. We don't have to turn on the news to see how important that is. But do we ourselves consider us a part of that ecology? Our eyebrows, our little toes, our ribs, those are as much a part of the ecosystem as a mountain stream or old growth forest, or apples, or trout, or salmon, or seals. Are we being green to our very own soul? Every atom in your body is as tender as the land you most cherish. Bless up, Jubilee community. During this time of prayer, I invite you to pray with Jackie and Daniel and friends in the group chat. for the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, over and around and through us and because of us and of us because of the earth lies. Breathe deeply. Now is the time for us to share the peace. Daniel is going to bring us in with a wonderful song that I don't ever want to give up singing. Daniel, bring it in, buddy.
Well, just like you said, Jay, it's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. So chat each other up in there. It's a really good chance to tell someone how you feel. It's in every one of us. I just remembered, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket and watching only half of the show. There are scenery and lights, cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. Sing along. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us by and by. So I am incredibly honored to get to introduce this next gift giver. This is someone that I met a few months ago in the context of interviewing people about navigating the unknown through music. And I found out that this guy, Gary Malkin, could not be a better spokesperson for the power of music and the power of connection, the power of authenticity and connecting to creative essence. His story is amazing. He has accomplished ridiculous amounts of things in his life. He's won many Emmys. He's created soundtracks for gobs of productions. He's an amazing human being, and he's here with us via his good friend, Vineet Allen, who we all getting to know. And really, really good to have you here with us this morning, Gary. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey there, here I am at Raggio and Vineet's house. And it's so wonderful to be in your community. And thank you so much for the invitation. The day before I came out to Asheville, which I am now in, I put together this song for you all in spirit of the theme that you set. And just a big shout out to your community. And I just can't wait to find out more about all the riches in this gorgeous place. You know, 40 plus years ago, I did a walk in the Smoky Mountains. And it gave rise to a CD that I have called The Music of the Smoky Mountains. So you might want to check that out. It was out 26 years ago. And a last shout out also is check out the movie coming out on September 26th, which is Thrive, the movie Thrive On. Go to thriveon.com. But it's something you don't want to miss. Anyway, this is the end of shameless self-promotions. Just thank you so much for the opportunity to share my music with you all. And I can't wait to get to know this community and all of you more someday, especially in person. But this is the way it is. So here we are on virtual. And thank you again, Daniel and Jackie and everybody for the opportunity to share my music. Hello, my name is Gary Malkin, and I am thrilled to have been invited to share a little bit of song medicine to your and with your community. I represent my company and my world, wisdomoftheworld.com, and it's all about using the power of music as a kind of a medicine to awaken us to holy moments that enable us to remember who we are and what matters most so that we can connect to the best part of ourselves. I'm told that your theme today is about the land and our belonging to it. And I also believe that we not only belong to the land, but we came out of the land. The famous cosmologist Brian Swims said the world was once molten lava and now sings operas. We came out of the land and we belong to the land, and we are stewards of the land. And we have a lot to learn about that. So this song was inspired by the famous Rumi poem, Out in the Field Beyond Right and Wrong. I'll meet you there. And I hope you enjoy it. Dedicated to all of us who are struggling and challenged to be the best version of ourselves for the most consequential time of our lives. Will you take my hand, and together we will stand at the edge of time and the threshold of a land. This is our ancient home, the one we've always known. At the calling of this love, we come. Before time and breath, inside every life and death, behind each face, inside every grief and grace, there is a timeless call, alive inside it all. At the calling of this love, we come. Sing that with me. At the calling of this love, we come. I carry the ancestors with my breath, with their wisdom and their wounds. I follow the children beyond my death. This will be their planet soon. Between grace and ash, where the future meets the past, between wing and flight, beyond thoughts of wrong and right, there is an ancient home inside the great unknown. At the calling of this love, we come. Together we will stand at the edge of time, on the threshold of a land. This is our ancient home, the one we've always known. At the calling of this love, we come. At the calling of this love, we come. Think of everything you love and feel that in your heart and sing. At the calling of this love, we come. At the calling of this love, we come. Where the heart has learned to feel, feeling all it takes to heal. At the calling of this love, we come. Thank you. Hello, my name is Gary
Thank you so
Malkin.
much, Gary. Thank you so much for that. That's so beautiful. And I can see you're enjoying the comforts of Bennett and Rajo, and it's good to see you guys. And again, you know, it's sitting here looking at these mountains, and as we prepare for our learning, I'm just in such gratitude for all the awareness and all the wisdom that's coming through during these times. That's heartfelt and done with love, honor, and compassion. So in today's reading, I don't have a bell here with me, and I don't have a candle because I can't light a candle in here. But today's learning comes from Job 12:7-10. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. End quote. And from a Native American elder, honor the sacred, honor the earth, our mother, honor the elders, honor all with whom we share the earth, the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, the winged ones, the swimmers, the crawlers, plant and rock people, walk in balance and beauty. And let's remember all these one-legged ones out here, these tree people, the stands tall people. How many of you saw that movie Avatar? Whenever I saw that movie Avatar, man, I was just like, man, the blue people are the bomb. And wanted to be one of those blue people. But then as I watched the movie, I realized just in some ways how ignorant and innocent the blue people, the new guy anyway, that was the main character. But ignorance not being a bad word. Ignorance just means you don't know. And whenever he came into this new world with these new legs and this ability that he thought he had lost, and now he rediscovers this place where everything's renewed and reborn. And in that, he feels vibrant and rejuvenized. And whenever the natives of this land come in and said, man, you're like a baby. You're stupid. You act weird. You don't respect. You don't honor. You don't love. And that's the reminder of, even within the innocence of knowing that, you know, that.
I lost you, Yona.
Oh, let me see if we can come back here. Am I still there? Can you hear me now? Hello? You hear me? Okay. Okay. So that, you know, the trees don't eat their own fruit that they bear. It's the fruit that falls from the trees and supports the community around it, the bushes, the animals. And then those animals devour that. And then they spread it further on out, and it becomes part of the larger system. And we as people, as we as human beings, as we understand, is with each inhale and exhale, we are giving back to the very beauty that's before us, the very creation, very connection. So that let's not fool ourselves as human beings to pretend that we're the most intelligent species on this earth, because we're not. We're just one organism within a larger mainstream of life. And as long as we can maintain that balance and maintain that place, our place within this delicate system of life, then I feel that this is the answer that we're looking for. It may not be the overall complete answer, but it may be the one that sates the hunger inside your own heart and spirit, as long as it's okay with you and that you are in agreement with what you are being given, and as long as you receive it graciously and in gratitude. I believe these are the answers that are there for us. And the ones that aren't, just like Howard's always said, maybe we just shouldn't know sometimes. So it's with that I share this. This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. And all creation sings of wisdom and God. Hallelujah. In a good way. Chris? Daniel?
Well, sorry, Yona, that was my bad. So thank you, Yona. We are really fortunate to have Chris Highland to come this morning and share his wisdom. He has quite a breadth of experience in different spiritual communities in his life. As a Protestant minister, and has also done a lot of different kinds of exploring, and is now doing a lot of writing and sharing in the way that he has integrated his wisdom, and is here today to talk to us about nature and saying yes to nature and to the gifts of earth. So really good to have you here with us, Chris. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Here.
There you are.
Great to be here among so many people with so much wisdom and talent. I feel like you've all already said pretty much all I need to say. But I do have a couple things to reflect on today, and hopefully this will connect with really this sense of this theme that we perhaps always need in our lives, which is saying yes to nature, even when the natural world doesn't seem to be saying yes to us. So I invite you all to sit back and take another deep breath and listen closely to these wise words. Thousands of tired, nerve-shaken, over-civilized people are coming to find out that going to the mountains is going home, that wildness is a necessity. You might recognize those words. Those are the opening words to John Muir's book, Our National Parks. And it seems like tired and nerve-shaken describes us pretty well these days, doesn't it? And this is an invitation for us to be outdoors, to be in the parks, to enjoy nature even more, and even the nature right at our front doors, right out some of those windows I see where you're watching today. It's a wildness within our own nature, and I think that's why, as some people have been saying here, it echoes what John Muir said to us. In wildness, is a necessity. In wildness is to be in ourselves deeper. So wildness is a necessity. It's not an option. So we might ask, though, what is wildness? What does it mean to be wild? And many times we fear the wild, don't we? We fear the awesome power of nature that creates this incredible beauty around us in our world, and yet brings this terrible destruction and this thing we don't want to talk about, death. The fires and earthquakes and floods and these things that we can't even see, viruses. The wild can be so very beautiful and so very frightening. Well, I like to be reminded of John Muir's favorite poet from what I would call the old country, Robert Burns, who once wrote, "Wildly here without control, nature reigns and rules the whole." Wildly here without control, nature reigns and rules the whole. So who's in charge? Who's in control? Nature. Wild, uncontrolled, and uncontrollable nature. So it's not always easy to say yes to that, is it? We might claim to love nature. We can all, sing songs and say prayers and all these wonderful things because we love the natural world. But do we really? Can we really love that uncontrolled wildness? Well, I consider John Muir, with all of his faults and mistakes in life, to me, he's kind of a secular saint, a prophetic sort of guy. And he called us outside and upward into the mountains. Why? To discover things that we've never seen before. The other day, I was eating my lunch outside in my own little nature spot outside. And one of those beautiful blue-tailed skinks, you've seen them, kind of slithered by my foot. Such agile beauty. But then this little skink moved into the sun on the deck and did something I'd never seen before. It put its belly down on the deck and put its front legs behind its back, and then folded its back legs into its tail. Something I'd never seen before. It's kind of like a skink yoga pose. So I just stood there smiling, and it was so wonderful and unbelievable. The next day, when I was out there in the same spot, it was raining, and I was standing under the eave, and I put my hand out, and I just felt the rain on my hand for a few minutes. I'd almost forgotten what that felt like, to feel rain on my skin. And then yesterday, out in exactly the same spot, I was looking at the clouds forming as they were passing over the mountains. And then I looked down and I saw two of my favorite little creatures, two jumping spiders, who were kind of doing this little dance. Just gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. And we're interwoven with that. We don't even have to use spiritual language. Scientists speak of this. Naturalists speak of this. Poets speak of this. It's this relationship that we can't escape with the skinks and the spiders and the clouds and the rain. They're part of our geography, the wildness of our geography. And now I want to tell you about someone that I correspond with. His name is Thomas, and he lives in Ethiopia. And Thomas and I connected a few years ago when he had come across my website and read some of my writings on nature. So we started this correspondence, and when I hear Thomas and his wise thoughts, he reflects both on his love of Africa, his own land, and his fears for his people. Always a mix, always a blend of emotions and thoughts. And I hear his voice, and it's far, far away, and yet feels like it's near. I can tell my stories, he can tell his stories. We can share those across the continents and deserts, plains, mountain ranges, and an ocean. And he reminds me of how ignorant I am about our world. And I agree with our friend earlier that, being ignorant is just part of being human. We don't know it all. We never will. But it's worth investigating. It's worth asking the questions. And I wanted to know more about Ethiopia, and I wanted to know more about Africa. Specifically, I wanted to simply learn where these places are. So I got myself an app. What do we turn to these days? We turn to apps. So I found this app that is about maps of the world. And I found this app that will test my knowledge of Africa to see how much I can learn these countries on the continent there. And let me impress you, I have now learned to name and find on that map all 55 countries in Africa. All 55. Isn't that impressive? Not really. Because next week, if I don't test myself and don't practice, I'll probably start forgetting. But could you show us on a map where Gambia is? How about Ghana or Gabon, Guinea, or Equatorial Guinea, tiny little country? And let me give you a hint here. The other 50 countries don't conveniently start with a G. Some of you world travelers are going to know some of this stuff already, but it's been a long time since I've studied geography. And it just feels like something I've got to do. So through practice, I've now learned the names and locations of the 49 countries of Asia. Where they're located. Can you point to where Bhutan, Brunei, Bahrain are? How about Indonesia, India? There's an easy one. Iran, Iraq. Look at the maps. Take a look at those maps. See how you do. And of course, it's always true that the more we learn, the more we see how much more we have to learn, how ignorant we are. That's just honest. So I thank my friend Thomas in Ethiopia for encouraging me to learn more about Africa, his world, my world, our world. It's wild. It's a wild world. Wildness is a necessity. And wildness, we all know this, but it's good to think about it. Wildness knows no borders, right? I can learn all those names, all those nations in Africa, and yet the land, the earth, knows no borders except for the natural borders. But I need to know where Thomas lives. If we're open to it, the geography of the earth can unite us across all the divisions and barriers. And like so many other things, it's really a matter of our choice. We can choose to see the world with a wider lens, a broader perspective, or we can just stay behind our borders and play the border game. So you see, here's the thing. How much do we really know about this planet? If we don't even know where a nation is, can't even name it, can we ever know the people there, their land, their wild things? And if there's a central lesson to what I'm talking about today, it's this. If we don't know where people come from, how can we really know where they're coming from? Their life experience, what they think, what they believe. I spent a lot of my life as an interfaith chaplain. I had to cross a lot of borders, had to move among a lot of different people who had very different life experiences and belief systems than I. But I learned from them. I learned from where they were coming from, because I went to where they were from. Here's the thing though, nature is frightening to us, isn't it, because of its wildness, but so are people sometimes. But if I listen to them, would my beliefs change? Maybe that's part of the fright of it, what scares us. It might transform my politics a little bit. It might transform the way I see my world. And what about the skinks and the spiders and the bears and the storm clouds? What might I learn from the natural world around me and in me, as was said earlier? This natural world we're a part of this. But what does this great natural classroom spinning through space really have to teach us? On this map, I can also learn about the rivers and the mountains and forests and the natural environment beyond the artificial borders. We're the ones that draw the artificial lines and cut the world, divide the world into, divide the planet and the people. But when we're honest, we know the truth, don't we? The tiniest living things shrug off the borders and the lines, don't they? The birds, they don't care. The insects, bacteria, viruses, and the largest creatures, the elephants and hippos and lions and bears, whales, they don't know those borders. They don't know those lines. They're just living, if they can. Did you know that the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is home to over 20,000 species, and they're discovering more all the time? Well, they're not just staying in the park, are they? They're all around us. So the most amazing thing to me is that when we see something in nature that's strange and new to us, like I did with that skink or the jumping spiders the other day, maybe no one's ever seen that before. Maybe you're the first one to see that. What an excitement. No wonder science is so amazing to us. Connecting with our own wildness. So nature reigns and rules the whole. Wildly here without control. This great, gorgeous geography stretching out before us. We don't rule it. We're not in charge. But what we do across the landscape of the human experience, what we do in relation with people and wild creatures, other wild creatures that share the land and the sea and the sky with us, this is the essential thing. It's the question before us. This is our geography, whether we have a map or not. Maybe the maps haven't been made yet for our way forward. The only map we have is our life. this world, in my opinion, this world and no other. That's what secular means, this present world. If there is another world, we don't know. This is the world we have. This is our geography. Do we know it? Are we willing to learn? So I'll leave you with a couple of wild questions. What is the voice you most need to hear in the world? I needed to hear Thomas, and I needed to pay attention to the voices right around me here. Is there a voice in the wilderness calling to you? What is the map that can help lead you to more deeply discover the geography of your world, which happens to be our world, the geography of life, the geography of the wild? So don't forget. If you forget everything else I said today, don't forget, don't be distracted. Remember, wildness is a necessity. To conclude, I want to share one of my favorite passages from our guide, John Muir. He said, "Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as the sunshine into the trees. The winds will blow their freshness into you, and the storms, their energy, while cares will drop away like autumn leaves." Thank you.
I will jump in. I thought Daniel was going to play something, but
I was, wasn't I?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Chris.
I was so blown away by all that, I completely forgot.
So amazing. Chris, thank you so much for your wisdom and your brilliance and that message. We're so grateful to have you here.
Yes.
So we'll jump right into Jubilee in action. This is the time in the celebration where we would pass the bowls around. You can't see me. Now you can see me. This is the time of the celebration that we would pass the bowls around, and this is what keeps Jubilee going. And so the ways we do that now is online through the online giving. You can text, you can give through the app, or of course snail mail. And it's through your giving that we're able to. And I wanted to introduce Patrick because normally this time of year, in a little bit, we would start our talent project where we hand out envelopes, and we're not able to do that this year. And so Patrick Fitzsimmons is going to tell you what we're going to do instead.
Thank you, Jackie, and good morning, everyone. So like Jackie said, we're just not able to do things in the normal way that we're accustomed to at Jubilee. We can't sing our songs, we can't receive our gifts, we can't hear our sermons in the normal way. And the same goes for the way that we protect and preserve Jubilee and support our community. So we can't do the talent project this year, which normally we would pass out $10 bills and encourage everyone to multiply that amount. But we can do is a replacement we come up, which is the 144 project. And thanks to Chris Andrews for coming up with this idea. Now, what does 144 represent? Well, it represents one gross. It represents the total of 12 times 12. And also, if we have full participation in our project, it represents $10,000 into Jubilee's coffers, which is about the amount we would raise during the talent project. So it's our replacement this year for the talent project. Now, how do you participate in the 144 project? It's very simple. And we will be emailing you out an email after the celebration day, which will give you details and the links for you to claim your number and to make your donation. But basically, you're going to choose a number between 1 and 144 choose your favorite number, your lucky number, and you claim that number. That's your number. And we will record which number is designated to you. And then you will contribute the amount of dollars associated with that number. For example, if you choose number 29, you will donate $29. If you choose number 67, you'll donate $67. So it's pretty simple. And if you will email your choice to Jackie, and you'll get the link in a little bit to how to do that, we will save that number for you. And if someone happens to have beaten you to the punch and gotten your favorite number, we will assign you the closest number below that value of that number. So think about your number right now. You can join right now and claim your number to make sure you get your favorite number by chatting it to us, and we'll record your choices, or by letting us know later via email in the message you'll be receiving after the celebration today. So help us make this 144 project a success to replace a talent project for Jubilee. We'll be running the campaign over the next month or so until we get 144 participants. So thank you in advance for doing your part to support Jubilee. Now, I got to tell you, I know you're probably all thinking, I want number 144. But as I was explaining this project to Claudia Sherry the other day, a longtime Jubilee, she said, I want 144. So 144 is already taken, but numbers 1 through 143 are still available. So think of your favorite number, chat your number choice to us right now, or when you get the email from Jackie later today, designate your choice via email, and that will have the links to how to participate. So thanks in advance for making us make the 144 project a great success this year.
Yay, thank you. It's so fun to see all the chats coming through. And if you want to do it anonymously, you can also just message me privately if you don't want everyone to see. But it's so fun to see those come through. So there's a lot in Jubilee in action, and we were going so over. I'm going to invite you all to take a look at the newsletter because it has everything in there. But there's one thing that I want to say that is not in the newsletter, and that's just a really big thank you to all of the people who came out yesterday and put 5 hours of their Saturday into learning more about racial justice. And a really big thank you to Molly Pritchard for making that happen. And there's still additional opportunities that are in the newsletter about the Racial Equity Book Club coming up and the Building Bridges workshop. There's a reminder in there about how to support low-wage earners so that we can all thrive, information about the Eco Grief Circle coming up, information about how to be a voter protector as well as a poll worker and judge. There's information about Asheville, beloved Asheville, which is one of our greatest allies for homeless folks in Asheville, and they're needing a new home. And there's information in there about the landlord-tenant partnership, which is a really amazing partnership for landlords to get some of the assistance that goes unused each year and provide housing for people who need it. So make sure, if you're not signed up, go to jubileecommunity.org to the lower left corner and sign up for our newsletter. And it's also on our Facebook page. So get the details in there, and we'll just be quick today. So thank you all so much for all that you do and for praying with your feet and being an active member of this community. And just a reminder, at the end of the celebration, we'll still do our breakout rooms so you can have deeper connection, and just ask that you really make it inclusive and connect with others and talk. It's a great place to share about what came up for you during the celebration today. So thank you so much.
All right, here we go, everybody. Sing out so they can hear it across the street. We are here. We are here for all of us. We are here for all of us. That's why we are here.
Thank you for that, Daniel, and thank you, Jubilee, for coming out this morning and being with us. And Gary, oh my God, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for your gift. And we are so, as a community, so blessed to be a part of this. And thank you for contributing. So if you will, just as we exit out into the week, if you will, just take a deep breath with me and we'll say a short prayer to lead us and guide us. Oh, Creator, we call out to you today with a good heart and a good spirit and a good soul. It's me, Yona, and I come to you in a good way. I ask, Creator, that all the voices and all the hearts that are gathered here this day be heard. I ask that all the silence, that in all the awe and wonder of the world and the silence be heard, that we may not have the human words to say what we're experiencing in our lives, but the beauty is so magnificent that we can only be silent. Help us to remember the first language of life, the wind, the earth, and all beings. Teach us the first songs of the birds, of the loon howling over the lake, of the wolves. Remind us of the greatness of which we come from. These one-legged people, the stands tall people, the tree people, the cloud people that bring us the moisture and the rain and the thunder beings. The earth and the mother that holds and embraces us. Help to remind us that we are all one living being, one generation after generation of one tribe of this earth, one people that look to this earth for life. Thank you. Thank you, Creator, for all the beauty and the gifts. We honor you and thank you, and know that we love you and honor you with all our hearts and spirits. And in a good way, we ask you to be with us in each and every breath. Aho.
Oh. All right, unmute this mess so we can hear each other. Yeah, darling, gonna make it happen. Take the world in a love embrace. Fire all of the guns at once and explode into space. Okay, am I gonna have to stop because I can?
You didn't mute anybody.
Come on now. Come on.
You didn't unmute anybody.
Yeah, darling, gonna make it happen. World in embrace. Fire all of the guns at once. Explode into space. Yeah, that's better. Like a true nature child. Born to be wild. Fly so high. Never explode into space like a true born to be wild. Never gonna die.
Born to be wild. Born to be wild.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you're on
Like
there.
that.
You're pretty honest.
Hi, everybody. Oh, this is breakout.
Breakout.